Today I want to talk about capture rate. We all know that some Pokemon are harder to catch than others, but today I want to explain all the factors that contribute to that, as well as go over what you can do to increase your chances of catching a wild Pokemon. I'm back here at my nearest Bulbasaur nest, Ford Park in Bell Gardens, to try to find some wild Pokemon so I can give you some examples and maybe get a little bit closer to my Venusaur. Before we get started, I need to give credit to Homu, the Desert Rain, and RhyniD, who are 3 Redditors who've done a ton of research on capture rate. The first thing you need to know is that every species of Pokemon has a base capture rate. The highest is 56% for Magikarp, the lowest is 0% for the legendaries, but of all obtainable Pokemon, the lowest is 4% for the fully evolved starters Venusaur, Charizard, Blastoise, and also Dragonite. That base capture rate doesn't mean you always have a 56% chance of catching a Magikarp or a 4% chance of catching a Dragonite. There are plenty of other multipliers and modifiers involved. The formula to find any individual Pokemon's capture rate is 0.5 times base capture rate divided by CPM. And CPM is a modifier that's pulled directly from the game data that basically adjusts a Pokemon's capture rate based on its level. Essentially, the higher level a Pokemon is, the harder it is to catch. You don't need to know the actual numbers for CPM, but I will link to a table in the description that gives you capture rate based on a Pokemon's base capture rate and level. As an example, Magikarp, which I said earlier has a 56% base capture rate, actually has a 100% capture rate if you find it in the wild at level 1, and a 38% capture rate if you find it in the wild at level 30. Seems easy enough, right? Well, it's not. A Pokemon's individual catch rate is only one part of the formula that makes up your entire chance of capturing that Pokemon. As you know, there are 3 different types of Pokeballs, and each one has a different chance of catching a Pokemon. We know the modifiers are 1, no change for a Pokeball, 1.5 for Great Ball, and 2 for an Ultra Ball. But Pokeball modifiers aren't straight up multipliers, meaning you don't have twice the chance of catching a Pokemon when using an Ultra Ball compared to a Pokeball. They're actually exponential modifiers, and they fit into a bigger formula. The formula for catch rate using a specific ball is actually 1 minus the Pokemon's capture rate to the power of the Pokeball modifier. Confusing, right? But it's here, so hopefully that helps. It's a lot easier to look at than it is to say. On top of that, there are even more modifiers that can affect your chances of catching a wild Pokemon. Raspberry is an item that, when used, increases your chances of catching a Pokemon, but we still don't know exactly how it fits into the formula. So as of now, I can't say exactly how much a Raspberry increases your chances of catching a Pokemon. It's also unclear how curveballs factor into everything. There just hasn't been enough research done to say decisively whether or not curveballs increase your chances of catching a Pokemon. But I'll still be throwing them for the experience and because it's just easier for me to hit them that way. The game gives you a visual representation of your chances of catching a Pokemon in the color of the target ring. So to demonstrate, let's try to catch this Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur, along with the other starters and Pikachu, have some of the lowest capture rates of any Pokemon in the game. 16% is their base capture rate, and that's lower than any other unevolved Pokemon. The color of that ring will indicate your percentage chance of catching the Pokemon. And you might have noticed that it can be red, orange, yellow, or green, but research by Redditor DonDon151 has shown that there are actually up to 511 possible different shades of the colored ring. So really what that means is you can't rely on your sight alone to determine your chance of catching this Pokemon. So now when I change Pokeballs, you'll see, hopefully, the color of the ring will change enough so that we'll notice it. The ring does look a little bit more orange, noticeably so when I switch to a Great Ball. And with an Ultra Ball, it looks pretty similar to the Great Ball, but the difference between the Ultra Ball and the Pokeball is definitely noticeable. I don't know what's going on back there, but we're going to continue. Niantic has said that throwing your Pokeball when the colored ring is at its smallest gives you the best chance of catching that Pokemon, and research by RhyniD confirms that. The interesting thing is that it seems like it doesn't matter whether or not you actually hit inside the colored ring. In most cases, the difference between hitting inside the colored ring and outside of it was only about 5%. So it's not clear whether or not there's actually an advantage to hitting inside the ring. It does seem like there could be a bonus, but it seems to be pretty small. So when it comes down to it, if you want the best chance of capturing a wild Pokemon, you need to throw your ball when that colored ring is at its very smallest. I missed. It was at its biggest there, which is actually going to give me the lowest chance of catching this Bulbasaur. But I still caught it because using an Ultra Ball has the highest capture rate of any of the available Pokeballs. And, 99 candies. After a transfer, I finally have enough for Venusaur.
What is going on?
There's even more cops now. But there's an Eevee here too, and Eevee has a 32% base capture rate. And because this Eevee's CP is so low, I know it's probably level 1 or 2, so the chances of catching this Eevee are really high, regardless of which Pokeball I'm using. So chances are, I'm gonna get it on the first throw. Easy. Easy capture. This lure just produced a Pidgeot, which is gonna have, if I can click on it, a pretty low base capture rate. If I'm not mistaken, it might be 20%, 16? I'm gonna check right now. 10% base capture rate on Pidgeot, and with 1031 CP, this one's gonna be pretty high leveled. So that's a very red circle. And like I said earlier, it's hard to approximate the exact number, but you can get a decent estimate if you look at these colors. So dark red, obviously, is going to be the closest to 0%. This kind of orange is closer to 25%. Yellow is about 50%. The greenish yellow is 75%. And this perfect green is 100%. So again, those are just guidelines, and as a human, it's really difficult to see small differences between colors. But if you just remember red, orange, yellow, red, orange, yellow, yellowish green, green. That's your range for catching Pokemon. 0, 25, 50, 75, 100%. There's no way I'm going to try this with the Pokeball. When it comes down to it, and you find a rare Pokemon or a strong Pokemon that you really want to catch, don't waste your time. Make sure you use a Raspberry. Even though we don't know how much it affects your capture chance, it does increase it. So use a Raspberry, use an Ultra Ball, and throw your ball when the circle is at its smallest. I'm going to put the camera down because Pidgeot and flying Pokemon are notoriously hard to hit, so I want to make sure I can use both hands for this one. That's still really red. That's got to be, it's less than 25% for sure. And again, not sure how a curveball is going to affect it, but I always throw them. Oh, I was a little late. There we go, smallest circle. And the difference for hitting inside the circle and outside of it is negligible. Although there might still be a modifier for that. I'm down to 2 Ultra Balls. Got it. So again, smaller circle, higher chance of catching the Pokemon. Hitting inside the circle for sure gives you the bonus experience, but again, we're not sure whether or not that actually increases your chance of catching it. At 2500 Stardust, this Pidgeot is about level 20. With a base capture rate of 10%, at level 20, its actual capture rate is about 7%. Putting that into the formula for Ultra Ball capture rate, my chances of catching that Pidgeot was about 14%. What's happening?
They left, like, I don't know, so they were saying that we're looking for a suspect, and then now they were talking to the person who's in there, like, we have a dog now, that's the car, the canine dog. Mm-hmm. It's like, the dog will come and find you. Obviously they want...
I hear it.
Give yourself up now to the nearest deputy or police officer, and you will not be harmed.
This is like the most exciting thing happening at this park today. Everyone's out here watching. Okay, we're standing here watching, and we're in range of a Pokestop, so I'm just gonna put a lure module on. Yeah, I'm gonna put a lure module on.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah? Right here? You wanna take a picture?
Yeah,
take a picture. Boom. Just of me? You don't wanna be in it?
No, I don't mean. Okay, thank you.
Here's an Eevee. That's not gunshots, don't worry. Someone's setting off fireworks right now for some reason. But yellow, that looks like about 25%. Somewhere between 25 and 50. No, yellow's 50. So this is somewhere between, it looks like right about 50% chance of catching that Eevee. And there it is, one try. Easy. Still not sure what's going on over here. From what I can gather and what I understand is it's fireworks, guys.
Please play fireworks.
Someone ran into like this property and they're hiding in this house with a gun. So the family that lives here is now out here with us. The police have been talking to them. They're gonna send a dog in there after him. We'll see what's going on. It's getting cold. My family's having dinner right now, so we should go. But I want to hang out a little bit longer and see if anything happens.
The canines.
It's getting really real out here in the streets of Bell Gardens. Apparently this is how it goes down all the time out here. All right, we've got a Ponyta here. Let's see how this ring looks. 857, that's pretty high level. And that's a pretty orange ring, so that's probably around 25% capture chance with the Pokeball. I'm gonna go up to a Great Ball. It's closer to 50, but still orange. Can you hold this?
Yeah.
Ponyta stands so far back. Excellent. Now again, I don't know if that's gonna increase my chance of catching it. Obviously I didn't catch it.
Oh, he escaped, man. Come on.
I'm trying. Let me give it a raspberry.
Hey, I try, man. I try.
Got it. So the raspberry, I mean, it helped there. It helps for sure. We just don't know how much. What's going on over here? As fun as it is to stand around and look at the same thing for 30 minutes, we are late. Shout out to Michael. We are an hour late now to my family's dinner, so I don't know. I hope everything works out okay here. Hopefully no one gets hurt, but I need to eat. I need to see my family. And Chance is there. I know you guys miss him. Also, I know it sounds like I might be getting sick, and I know you guys are kind of worried about my health since I haven't been sleeping a whole lot, but don't worry, I'm not getting sick. We made good use of my day off and went to a music festival last night, and we were just dancing in dirt and dead grass for hours. I mean, look at my car. That's pretty much what we were breathing in all night, so it kind of just messed things up in there. Yeah. War going on here. Yeah.
What?
People miss you on the channel.
Okay.
What do you have to say to them?
I'm back.
I think it might have.
Are you playing it?
I need to see your Pokemon.
Oh, okay.
This is my cousin Sam. And she has way better luck with Pokemon than I do.
On that side? Yeah.
Can we just
And the bow?
Tell me about that Victory Bell.
Victory Bell, perfect IVs, perfect moveset.
That's the exact Victory Bell that I want. You got that Lapras early.
Lapras, I got this Lapras early, but I can't power it up too much. I've never gotten another one. And then,
Buddy System's coming.
yes, Executor, perfect moveset.
Again. I still don't have one.
You told Chance it was good, Chance told me. That's how I found out. Wait, so let's
Collect
see.
them.
How do you choose the names?
Wherever I find them.
Comes to you?
I found that guy in El Paso. So his name is El Paso. And he looks like an El Paso. If you look at him.
Yeah,
Do
could
something,
be,
dude.
could be.
There it is. We're here at Cassie's now. Dinner with the family was nice, but it's late, and I'm gonna start editing. Good night. See you tomorrow. The next question I want to answer is it worth it to buy bag storage? In my video about what to spend coins on, I said that the 2 items you should buy are lucky eggs and incubators. And now, with anything in this game, nice, electrode. Your experience is gonna vary depending on where you live, which is, it's one of the best things about this game in my opinion. It's unlike any other game in that way.